Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would film for you guys yet another thrift book haul. Some of these are from my local thrift bookstore, and then some of these are from like Goodwills or other like random things I picked up while I was thrifting. I think I'm going to start with the books that I got at the thrift bookstore. So I guess I'll start with this one. I got Phantasma. This is a book about like a Hunger Games type war game kind of thing, I think. And then it's about a girl who's named Ophelia, and she gets put into this like world of this game. I did go ahead and pick up the second book in this series. I think it's called Enchantra. I could be wrong. I might not remember that right, but I did. It's the purple one. I picked that one up at Amazon sale. This one this one was $12.98. I don't know, I really like this cover. I did literally just read the Inheritance Game series, so I was like, I should probably read something kind of similar because I like that sort of fantasy game vibe. Obviously the Hunger Games is good too, same with Divergent. Like all of these kinds of series I really like, so I was like, let me try this one. And I don't know if it's a duology. I think she's gonna write more books. I'm not 100%. I don't really know a ton about that series. The next book that I picked up is this book called The Midnight Library. I did actually already read this book. I read it in April. You'll see that when I do my April-May reads, my spring reads video. But I'll give you a quick version. I did like this book a lot. It's pretty short. I think I read this book in like maybe a day or two. It's only like 250 pages or so. But the pages are super short and they cut off a ton because there's a ton of chapters, because it's about this girl who wants to end her life, and then as she's like crossing the bridge to the other side, she goes into this place called the Midnight Library, where you basically open books that take you to different like portals of your life, and they're based on different decisions, big or small, that you made in your past that could have affected your future life. So it basically makes you think about whether or not your current life is so bad, or it kind of just makes you reflect on, maybe I shouldn't have all these regrets or all this guilt, because at the end of the day the outcome would have been the same, or the outcome might have even been worse had I have chosen something else. So the next book that I got is Divine Rivals. This one was $10.98. The Midnight Library I think was like $9.98 because it is a smaller book, but they're priced based on their conditions. So obviously I try to pick up the ones that are newer. This is, again, like I said, Divine Rivals. I was gonna pick up the second book in this series at the Amazon sale, but I decided against it because I do have a lot of series that I'm currently reading, and you will see when I do my haul video for the Target sale and the Amazon sale that I did pick up plenty of other series to read, so I did not end up picking up the second book in the series, but I am very excited to read this. I like Rebecca Ross's writing a lot, so, and I don't know, I just thought that this book was going to be interesting. I've heard a lot of good things, and I'm excited to read it, and I think I will probably pick up this book soon because it is a bit of a shorter read in the fantasy realm, and it's written with kind of bigger text. So I will probably pick this one up soon, but I am excited to read that, and I think that cover is so pretty. The next, speaking of really pretty covers, I got Cloud Cuckoo Land. This is by Anthony Doerr. This book is so pretty. I'm sorry, but it is beautiful. It is huge. As you can see, this book is very daunting because of how tall it is. But I am still really excited to read it. I did low-key pick it up because it was pretty, and it was also only $13. And this is like basically a brand new hardback edition. So I was like, yes, please give me that all day. I have read All the Light We Cannot See. That's a book also by this author. I like that book. Historical fiction is not my favorite genre, but I've kind of been trying to force myself to read it because I don't read it enough. So I wanted to kind of try and start to get into reading more historical fiction books. And I also just really like this book. It's just very pretty, and it's gonna look great on my shelves. I don't know a lot about it other than that it's set in Constantinople. It's a historical fiction book. And other than that, I don't really know much. So, oh, and then the last book that I picked up from my thrift bookstore is this book called The 1000th Floor. So essentially this is a book about different characters who are living in this very specific apartment building. They are all teenagers. The girl who lives in the 1000th floor, her name is Avery, and it's just talking about, like, even though they're living in this super nice, very bougie apartment in Manhattan, and it's like in the future, they're super rich, yet there's all these other bad things that are happening to them. Even though they have all these good things and they have all of this privilege, yet they're still facing adversity. So, and then it's giving all the POVs from, I think it's either 5 or 6 different characters that this book provides POVs from, of the people who live in the apartment. So I just thought that that sounded really cool, and this book was only $4.98, so I was like, I'll give her a read. So like I said, that's it for what I got from the thrift bookstore. So from like Goodwills and other like general thrift store reads, this is what I picked up. I'll start with this book called Think Again. You've probably seen it. It's got like, the book jacket is the flame with the blue flame coming out of it. It's by Adam Grant. This is a self-help book. It's, like I said, I want to read more nonfiction. I do want to read more nonfiction. I think that that's a genre I don't touch enough. But it just kind of goes along with how to continue to learn and how to kind of get over being an overthinker, and how to kind of, it's written basically for type A people, which I am very type A. So I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. I did read The Let Them Theory very recently, so this is kind of the same vibe as The Let Them Theory in the self-help book regard, nonfiction. So I was like, I'll give it a try. It did come with the book jacket. I got it from Goodwill, but the book jacket was disgusting, so I took it off, and now it looks brand new because this part's not dirty. Same thing with a nonfiction vibe. I got Bill Nye's memoir book called Everything All at Once. This is about being sciencey, like being a nerd, and like that's okay, like you can be a nerd. And it gives you like different science facts and like kind of tells his story of his life, while at the same time kind of like how to apply it to your life. And I just thought that this book was kind of cute, Bill Nye's book. And I do like Bill Nye a lot. Obviously we all grew up watching this in school, so I was like, you know what, I'll give his book a shot. I don't know if I'm gonna read this anytime soon, but I did pick it up because I thought it was just cool to even just have in general. The next book I picked up is Ready Player One. This is by Ernest Cline. I do know that this is a movie now, but I actually have never seen this movie. I feel like I could have sworn when I saw this that I had a copy of this book, but I could not remember for sure. So I picked it up, and I'm glad that I did, because it turns out I actually do not have this book in my collection, so I was glad to pick up another one. Like I said, I think I've read it. I don't know. It takes place in the future, and it's basically just about these kids who like play video games, and then it turns into like their real life, and they become player one. But I think I'm gonna read this, and then maybe I'll actually end up watching the movie if it's like on streaming or something, because I did not see it when it came out. But I am excited to read that at some point. Next book I got is Sudden Peril. This is by Frank Richardson. This book is basically about this like organization that's called the Freeman Foundation, and it's about a person who interns in the Freeman Foundation and kind of figure out how they operate, and learns where they send their operatives. Like they send people to the FBI, they send people to the CIA, they send people to like these more dark web type organizations to like figure out how they operate and how they work. And it like gives the perspective from the intern who's like being sent on these missions to these different places. It's a pretty thin book, so I thought it'd be a pretty quick read, and I thought it sounded interesting, so I picked that up. The next book I picked up is called Oil and Marble. This is the story of Leonardo and Michelangelo. It is dual POV, from Leonardo's POV and then Michelangelo's POV, and it takes place from 1501 to 1505, but in like increments, like in basically parts, but it's based on the years. And it talks about them living in Florence and kind of giving a day in my life of Michelangelo and Leonardo from their perspective of the time where they're making their very, very famous works. So like Michelangelo's working on David, like in this book, and it's talking about what he's doing and what he learns, and it actually makes them seem like rivals. Like it makes them like have a rivalry, and it makes them be like, oh, the 2 biggest painters in the city, who's gonna win, kind of thing. And it, like I said, takes place in Florence. So I thought that this book looked super interesting, and I found it on Amazon, but Amazon only had it in a hardback version, and it was like $40. So I was glad that I picked that book up. This book you've probably seen on TikTok recently, but this is called Find Your People by Jenny Allen. I was actually surprised that I saw this at the thrift store. I don't know when this book came out, but I have just seen it kind of become popular recently, so I think it is a recent release, maybe not. But it's about kind of learning how to make friends or keep friends in a world where we're all like chronically online and we all don't know how to interact with people anymore. So it's like understanding how to approach conflict and understanding how to kind of get over the barrier that social media creates in our lives and makes it hard for us to read. It's cool because it's got like diagrams and like message bubbles. Like it tries to make it at least interesting, kind of appeal to the younger generation. So I thought that that book looked cool, so I'm glad I picked that one up. And the last book I got is pretty niche, I guess. Well, not niche, but this is also nonfiction. This is called Chaos Monkeys, and it's Obscene Fortune and Random Failure in Silicon Valley. I have actually lived in Silicon Valley, so I just thought that this, I don't know, I just thought it would be interesting reading it from the POV of someone who's like literally grown up around all of these companies and seen kind of their growth, and reading it from the point of view of someone who's explaining A, how they got to where they are, and B, like how that has impacted our society, like Google and Netflix and Facebook and Meta and Uber, because they're all of those companies are headed in Silicon Valley. So I was like, I should give this a read because I thought it would be really interesting. It is kind of a long book for me for nonfiction, so I probably won't start with this one, but I might also just kind of read it in little increments. But I did think it looked really interesting, and I do think that this lime green cover is really, really beautiful. So yeah, that is my big stack of books that I got recently thrifting. As always, I will leave my Goodreads down below so you guys can keep track of what I am reading and see what I'm reviewing, see how I'm doing. If you want to leave a like on the video, that would really help my channel. If you want to subscribe, I will be doing new videos weekly. I will do book related videos and other thrift videos. So as always, thank you guys for watching.